All right, who's an organization in sports that feels like they've fallen short recently and has had success? The New York Yankees, right? The winningest organization in pro sports in America.
Celtics, maybe?
Yankees got 27.
Okay.
So they, in the last 10 years, or since 2009, last time they won the World Series, have felt like they have come up short. They've had great teams. They've had solid teams. Last 2 years, they've made the ALCS. They've gotten to the championship game, the NFC championship game.
Right.
They've been beaten twice. And they are disappointed. And every single year that they don't win a World Series, they are disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
There seems to be a lot of negativity surrounding them. And I know that's the East Coast.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
And now, how are they feeling this year?
Oh, they're pissed.
Good. Because now they know that it's not easy to just go to the playoffs every year. You can actually have a season where you don't even make the playoffs.
No, but see, when you're accustomed to making the playoffs, you do see it as easy because you do it all the time.
Fans see it as easy, not the players.
You come to expect it.
Who? The fans or the players?
If you have a good front office, a good head coach,
sure,
and a quality roster, shouldn't you expect to make the playoffs in any sport?
Well,
up until recently, it was probably the toughest in baseball. But football now, there's an extra wild card spot. You got another opportunity to make it. There's one less, bye.
What I'm saying is, if I'm a 49er fan, we know we're making the playoffs. If we stay healthy, we're making the playoffs. Yes or no?
Yes.
What about the Rams? What about a Rams fan?
Rams got a Super Bowl.
I know, but I'm just talking this year.
Rams don't know whether they're going to be good or bad, but probably bad.
How about Arizona?
They're going to be terrible.
And then how about Seattle? They think they're going to be pretty good.
Yeah, and a fan would tell you we're not them.
Who?
A 49ers fan. What?
Right, that's why the expectation...
Why are the 49ers comparing themselves to the dwellers of their division?
They're not. I'm just giving you the teams so that, A, you can expect, okay, they're the best team in the NFC West. That's going to get them to the playoffs. Like, that's a hell of a start. You know what I mean?
Okay, and they've had the same
start.
They've had the same start 3 out of the last 4 years.
Knowing that you can't bypass the regular season, knowing that you actually have to play 17 games. What do you want from the 49ers before the playoffs start?
But you're speaking about the regular season like we're bypassing it. Because they're going to win 11 games. That's just a matter of 12, 13, 14. Like, you are bypassing the regular season. Because that's not what matters to the 49ers. What matters to them is the postseason.
No, it's not. The reason I brought that up isn't because it doesn't matter. I brought it up because a rational fan, and feel free to jump in at 888-957-9570. I think most rational fans would say the 49ers are at least a 10 or 11 win team.
Yeah, and I think
so. That's why I'm glossing over that. Maybe I should emphasize it because 49er fans need to realize, like I'm telling them what they need to realize, that guess what? There's going to be 17 weeks of football. You guys are going to win 12 times. 12 times. Like, so you're not going to enjoy that because they've lost in the Super Bowl once and missed the NFC playoffs just once in 4 years. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and what we're talking about is why is there negativity?
And
I'm trying to explain why there is.
But I'm trying to explain why I don't understand why there is. Like, if you're a 49er fan, I guess maybe you just take for granted you're going to the playoffs this year. Right?
I think a lot of people do.
All right. Well, see, I would kind of, you can have expectations that this team's going to the playoffs, but the journey's going to be, if they go to fine, okay. Do you realize that going to the playoffs involves a regular season that's usually a lot of fun? And if you're the division winner, your regular season is going to be pretty damn fun. And it's going to be way more positive than negative. Like, why as a fan would you just want to bypass that and say, well, it's about what's done in the playoffs? Like, why would you kind of miss out on all that enjoyment of a 12-5 season?
Well, no, you wouldn't. Like, for example, last year's Minnesota Vikings team, they were 13-3, and they had I forget what their record was ridiculous in one-score games. Like they were 10-2 or something. They had a bunch of late comebacks. They were the Minneapolis Miracles or whatever, and then they got beat in the first round of the playoffs at home. That doesn't take away from the regular season.
Of course not.
But what I think you're dismissing is the feeling that fans have at the end of either being upset or feeling like they fell short of a goal. Like, yes, you enjoy the regular season. It's incredible. Right. It's a roller coaster ride. But for all but one team, it comes to a skidding halt.
Yep.
The 49ers have reason to believe that they're not the team that has to have their season come to a skidding halt at the end of the postseason.
Fair. So until it comes to a skidding halt, why would you deny yourself that enjoyment as a fan? For example, when the Warriors won 73 games, that was the most incredible regular season I've ever seen in my entire life, bar none. The playoffs were incredible. And, there was one game where they lost. But I get it. It hurts. It stinks. It's lousy. Nobody wants it. But that season was so, you can't take away Curry's bang and all that. And it doesn't take the pain out of it. I just don't know why you would, not, and we can move on. I don't know why. It feels like let's acknowledge a 12-5 season and enjoy it, and we'll worry about the playoffs when the playoffs come around.
I think it's the same reason why people look at the Giants' 2021 season as an aberration. As a 107-win season, the regular season, it was incredible.
Well,
they had
it was.
Why was it?
Because there's so few 107-win season in the history of baseball. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and then what happened? So, the way that we look back on that year, I think, and I don't know, some people say that's my favorite season of Giants baseball and had the best time of my life. What I'm speaking to is your question about why there is negativity,
right,
which is some people saying, yes, that was great. It was incredible. It was unexpected. But for all of those reasons, that's why when they got to the playoffs, I felt like it was going to come to an end. And fans naturally worry. Not everyone can look at the glass as half full the way that you do.
No, I get it. And a 510 says, poor argument, Steiny. The Niners' ultimate goal is a Lombardi, not an achieved regular season. Maybe I'm being too nuanced.
Well,
I understand that.
Kyle Shanahan has multiple postseason wins. Every time he gets there, he wins games.
So what I'm asking to the 510, this fan, is poor argument, Steiny. Niners' ultimate goal is not an achieved regular season. That sounds to me like a fan who's, when the Niners have a 12-5 season, please enjoy it. You have to get there first. It feels like 12-5, yeah. Okay, yeah, so we did that before. It's why would you deprive yourself of 4 months of enjoyment when 12 of the weeks you're going to be like, you know what? We can do it this year. We're pretty good. This is pretty good. Then we're going to lose. The 5 times you're going to lose, let's say, and you go, I don't know if we can do it. But it's mostly positive. It feels like people are not going to enjoy the regular season because all that matters is the Super Bowl.
And I think
maybe I'm exaggerating that part.
I think you are a little bit. I just think that fans worry because if you win, it feels great because you had your expectations lowered and they I don't know. And maybe we do need to kind of move on. But I just think that the perceived negativity is. I just don't think it's as big as we're making it out.
Well, I don't either. And maybe that's why, of course, people are going to enjoy the season.
Why fans are negative, but I also think that's natural.
I don't know why fans are negative. I could see skeptical. Or doubting or a little discouraged. But what was the word?
Negative? What do you mean?
There's no reason to be negative. You can be skeptical. You can be doubting. You can be even a little discouraged. Come on, don't be negative about this season. Anyway, 888-957-9570 if you want to join into the conversation. Joe Montana was on the morning show and was asked about whiskey, and he likes it, and Gold Bar whiskey.
I love it.
Thank you. And but he also obviously was asked about the 49ers and their situation. This is the greatest quarterback that's ever put on a uniform for the San Francisco 49ers. Relax, Spinoni. And let's talk about all the usual suspects. Here's what Joe Montana said about Trey Lance.
I think it was a tough fit for him in that system. And with Mike down there in Dallas, I think he's going to run into a system that might fit him a little bit better. I kind of saw it coming when you saw him getting a lot of playing time in the last 2 games there, or a lot or more playing time. I think they were trying to give him an opportunity to stay in San Francisco, but in the end, I think that they just needed someone that was a better fit in case Purdy doesn't make it through the season.
So expand on that fit.
The game was played from the pocket for the most part in that system, and it's hard to learn and understand that game when you run pretty much, I won't say a full read option when he was in college, but he spent a lot of time moving, out of the pocket, getting the movement, and that's not 49er style right now. And, hey, he's a great athlete, and I'm sure he's going to find a place that fits for him because I think he has the ability to do it. I just think he was in a bad spot.
Evan, this is what I mean about listening to a guy like Montana, because it makes me think. So if Joe Montana is accurate about everything he said, okay, because he's the greatest to ever do it, that tells me 2 things. We've heard Kyle Shanahan say myriad times over his coaching of the Niners, got to be a pocket quarterback. If you can make plays in the pocket, great. So this is the question. At Gurette, why did you draft Trey Lance? Either Kyle Shanahan thought Trey Lance could be a pocket passer or already had the skills to be a pocket passer, or he said, I don't think he's there yet, but I'll make him one. That's the right? That's the only 2 ways he could be, right?
Well, I think first he got himself in trouble by trading up for something he didn't know was there. Like he traded up for a choice because, and he even explained this, like his thought process was, well, we'll never have a chance to get a pick this high.
Right.
And to your point about being competitive every year, that's probably true. If you are competitive, you don't have a chance to trade up or to be even close to a top 5 pick to get a franchise traditional quarterback.
Right.
But when you don't know what the guy is, or if you're not trading up for someone specific, then I think you do kind of have to either trick yourself into believing that there's something there, or whether it's arrogance or just strong self-belief, you have to believe that you can turn whatever tool that you picked, you can turn that into something of a franchise quarterback. So, I don't think Trey Lance was their guy. I don't know if Kyle Shanahan had a guy. I don't know if it was Mac Jones. I don't know if it was Justin Fields. I don't know if it was Trey Lance. But when he got the 3rd pick and talked to Trey Lance, I think Kyle Shanahan said, well, we already traded up. We got to take someone. And this guy has enough of this and enough of that. And with me, we can create magic.
Right.
That to me is a problem.
Right.
That's not something that generally, you might strike gold, and maybe Kyle Shanahan felt like he was playing with house money. But when I hear Joe Montana talk about it was a bad fit, those are all the things that come into my mind of, well, yeah, it was a bad fit in the first place because he didn't know what the fit was.
True, but if Kyle's true to his word with that statement of wanting first things first, pocket quarterback, then he misevaluated that.
Yes.
In a big way. Because what I'm hearing and is Trey Lance in the pocket wasn't accurate enough. He didn't process quickly enough. He didn't get to the reads that Kyle wanted. So he wasn't at all apparently the kind of quarterback that Kyle Shanahan was looking for. In fact, could you make the argument that if what Shanahan wants first and foremost always is a pocket quarterback and then a guy who can make plays, he might have picked the worst of the 5 guys?